She actually got the very final word when the decision was made by phone, and she just started crying.
But then it was time to go to the next step. I knew that I'd always wanted to be a recording artist. I actually had a connection. SWV actually came as a guest star.
In the set, in the makeup room, Christina was by herself. She was singing to herself, thinking no one was around.
Somebody happened to hear me just singing in the hall.
And the next thing you know, here's this lady who was traveling with SWV, and she's asking for Christina Aguilera's mother, you know, and I'm like, what happened? What went wrong? And she just gave me her card and said, I know this wonderful manager. You know, if the show ever cancels, you know, give me a call because I can introduce you to him. He's really, really good. And of course, she was talking about Norman Kurtz.
My father called me to say that he had seen this girl, met this girl, and he was extremely excited about her, at which point I asked him, how old is she? The place really wasn't primed for, you know, teen, fresh vocalists. We were just coming off Nirvana and Pearl Jam, and that was sort of the vibe at the time.
I'd gone over to Romania to represent the U.S. in an international talent competition.
And she was getting older and getting more experience.
We'd gotten a few demo songs together.
And then we put a plan into place to shop her in the fall.
Norman Kurtz called me and he said, I need to see you. So he came in with his son, Steve Kurtz, and played a demo tape of a girl that was 15 years old. And I was very impressed. So I put it in an envelope with a little note on it, and I sent it to Ron.
Ron, R.E. Christina Aguilera. She's 16, lives in Pittsburgh, has star quality. And then he had a little analysis of some of the songs, and it said, any interest? Call me. So I took a meeting with Christina and her management.
I was so nervous. I looked at the door, I was like, thinking about seriously leaving.
Christina came into the meeting, and it's hard to say whether she really understood at that time and at that age that it was kind of like a big career meeting taking place.
Oh, I got it, but a calm comes over me. You know what I mean? It's like, if I'm going to do this, I got to face it.
She was very much in her own zone and, you know, tremendously cute, and I just said to her,
so sing for me. You know what I mean? He's like, so sing. And he totally put me on the spot.
She said, right now, right here, you want me to just sing? And I said, yeah, a cappella, just sing. So she said, okay, and nailed the song. I started off by offering her manager, Steve, what I call garden variety boilerplate demo deal. But in the process, a buddy of mine called me from Disney, and they had this sort of problematic song that was the end title of Mulan called Reflection. I thought of Christina.
Look at me, you may think you see who I really am, but you'll never know me.
This random phone call came from my manager one day who was like, Christina, there's this thing for Disney, it's a movie, can you belt the high E above middle C? So I took a karaoke tape of Whitney Houston's I Want to Run to You from the Bodyguard soundtrack, went in my bathroom, like, to my shower stall, and it was so bad, because it sounded so cheesy and so tinny, but I had to prove that I could sing this note, and I did it. People say it's the note that changed my life.
Within about 3 days, she was on her way to L.A. with her manager to meet with Matthew Wilder and the producer and writer of the song. We all got together. They taught her the song. She sang it once. By the time she was about 5 seconds into the first verse, she had the job.
Now I see if I wear a mask, I can fool the world, but I cannot fool my heart.
She sang Reflection at 8 o'clock in the morning on CBS This Morning, which was an incredibly difficult thing to do.
A lot of people were apprehensions at the time, you know, of this new girl, you know, they heard the record and everything. A lot of people are like, oh, can she do it live? Can she do this? You know, is it as good? And it was like my moment to be able to prove myself.
I had actually heard of Christina when she did the Mulan song, Reflection, and I heard her and I go, who's that singing? You know, and then I'd heard her name, I heard she was 15 or 16 years old. I'm going, damn, she's really good.
think it was summer of '98 that Christina got on a plane, got a hotel room, came out to LA, and we started.
I was on that plane going, my gosh, I'm making this happen. It's something that I've always dreamt about, always wanted, and I was like, I'm doing it for real. I'm going to make my record. It was the coolest moment ever when you have that sort of realization.
When we come back, Christina sets out to record her debut album.
And all of a sudden, I just realized, wow, I'm signed to like a record company now. They kind of own me a little bit. It just sort of became like, oh wow, I'm a product now.
Next on New Sensation, Christina Aguilera.
This, city, and being surrounded with so much at once.
I think particularly at night it must have been tough for her because she's home alone in a hotel room when her friends are back in school going to the TGIF or the school football game.
If I would have been in school, like at that school desk, I've been looking out the window saying, oh God, what would have happened if I would have done it, if I would have gone out there and really followed it, follow my dreams.
What a girl wants, what a girl needs.
I don't think at that particular point, like on the first day of her arrival in Los Angeles to record, that she really ever... I knew what her dream was, but I don't think she ever realized that it was about to come true.
Thank you for giving me time to breathe.
The first song I recorded was actually What a Girl Wants. What a Girl Wants was cool, to start out with. I had my own ideas of what I wanted to sound like, what I wanted to look like, this and that. And all of a sudden, I just realized, wow, I'm signed to like a record company now.
The way the album was taking shape, we knew we had something very special.
And I started contacting, all of my buddies and my friends in my salon of creative people to start to collect a group of tunes that would become her first album. There was very few cases where a song appeared and we just took it. But one of those cases was Genie in a Bottle.
Here we go.
My body's saying, let's go. What my heart's saying.
At the time it was called If You Want to Be With Me. And I listened to it and I said, Ron, yeah, nice song. Well, let's record it. And Ron was like, no, this is the song.
I really thought that that Genie could be that first single. And I always believed in it. Then I had to talk her into it.
I liked it, but it definitely lacked soul.
Her concern was that she had this great voice and she wanted the whole world to know about it right now.
Britney was already happening, and NSYNC was happening, and the Backstreet Boys was certainly happening, so the teen marketplace was very ripe.
So we needed something fresh and youthful.
We did a series of invitation-only showcases in really nice venues.
Performing for people for about 20-25 minutes.
The one that sticks out in my mind actually was the one that we did for MTV and VH1.
It was an audience that has seen it all, been there, done that. It was like they were going to sit back and say, oh, impress me.
And she just opened her mouth and started singing.
The days are over.
I was just raving. This girl can knock you through a freaking wall with her notes.
4 weeks later, we released the video.
She is officially entering the world of TRL at number 9 today with her debut song, Genie in a Bottle.